a very big GM to all of our listeners out there. Literal GM, of course, for Liz and Aswang themselves, hailing from the Philippines right now, probably about coming up to 10:30 in the morning. So they're just getting their days kick-started out here. Mangoes, of course, hailing from Texas. Very, very cool. No doubt, some point in the evening. A very, very big thank you to, of course, all of you for taking the time to join us today as we attempt to sort of peel back the layers here on the Aswang tribe project and, of course, collection. Now, Oswang tribe itself, to be honest with you, probably doesn't need too much introduction at this point in time. It's been, sort of, again, as we've alluded to, it's been cooking for months, right? It's a collection of 3,333 generative NFTs based on, I would say, and are almost sort of an extension of an original one-of-one collection called the Aswang Collection that you can actually find on OpenSea today. And those were done by, of course, the artist Aswang himself, who's joined us today and is currently struggling with some good old Spaces technical difficulties. Those were the first NFT collectibles inspired by Filipino mythology way back in the day. I think they've got like 130 of them on OpenSea. They're holding a 3 ETH floor in the bear market, so super comfy, right? And back when they were first released, these one-of-ones, they had some massive collectors. I'm talking like Metotsuki was a collector way back in the day. I think Gabby Dizon, the founder of Yield Guild Games, Yield Guild, is probably still is
I
a
think still is,
collector of,
yeah.
still is a collector of Aswan collection as well. So, some incredibly big names got in way early, right? And so that was on the one of ones. Aswang tribe, which we're going to be talking about today, is in many ways, I suppose, an extension of that universe. 3,333 mints. That'll eventually lead into a total collection size of 6K, and we're going to talk about that, of course, a little later. But there's a lot of history in the space here with this team. They've and certainly Aswang specifically has been an artist in the space now effectively for essentially a year, and in my opinion, anyway, is ranked among one of I would say sort of you talk about leading early NFT artists. I would say Aswang certainly ranks among any of them. So today, of course, we're joined by Delicious Mangoes, the head of marketing for Aswang Tribe, Liz, the head of community, and of course Aswang himself. Aswang, I can see you're back on stage once again. Go ahead if you want to try and
I
unmute.
think I
And
heard on this time.
Can you hear me now?
There you
I
go.
can,
Hey, holy shit, man.
But
Hi
by the
there.
That
way,
we can
took a
hear you.
while. Oh my god.
No
it's
dramas.
we
How
hadn't
did
told you, but they have a voice changer,
I?
so that's
Man,
why you hear
I
Bane.
I was afraid I would take too long to connect and you would change the project's name to Liz Tribe or something. But yeah, so now I'm here.
We would never do that to you, Oswald. It's very good to have you here. I have to say, the voice changer is indeed a pleasant surprise. Do you do this on all public appearances? And do,
Dude,
do we hear your real voice in the Discord only?
dude, it would be extremely painful if I took off the voice changer. So you
Extremely painful. That sounds incredibly mysterious,
know,
increasing the mystique in and of itself. Very rarely, I have to say, this might have to be the first time here that we've ever had a founder come on with a voice changer. Aswang, I just want to say it's an absolute pleasure to be speaking with you today. And of course, once again, a very big thank you for taking the time. How's the morning going over there at the moment?
all good, man. All good, man. Thank you so much for having us here. I mean, it has been a while, and yeah, I'm super happy to be able to like connect with Metaverse HQ. Like you said like earlier, like we both communities basically started off at the same time, and it's super dope to connect with the are we legacy projects now? Not really, but yeah, to a fellow to a member of batch 2021. Yeah.
Exactly. We should get like T-shirts printed or something, or get like little like pins. POAPs. Well, POAPs were cool back then. I don't know if POAPs are still cool now. You remember when POAPs were cool? I remember when POAPs were cool.
dude,
That's how
People
old we
still
are.
like them.
dude. I remember when NFTs were called crypto art. That is how like that's how long I've been in this thing. But yeah, yeah, it's it's been dope. It's been dope, and super happy, super happy that because Aswang, the collection last year was quite small, and I'm happy that I'm able to like spread the word about Filipino mythology and culture like to a wider audience with the Aswang tribe.
That's incredible, and that's really really awesome. Look, for our listeners today who may not necessarily be as immersed in Filipino folklore, I certainly am not. I read the descriptions off the label, right? Can you perhaps give us a very brief overview, perhaps, and it doesn't have to be Aswang, it can be Liz or Mangoes, behind sort of the lore behind the main species in the Aswang tribe collection. So we've got four primary, right, sort of four primary species as part of the collection Aswang tribe. We've got the Tikbalang, the Shokoy, Duende, and Manananggal. I'm hoping I'm getting these names right by now. I've said them a couple of times now, off off mic. So perhaps can you give us a little bit of an overview of the lore? Are these evil, traditionally evil spirits? Are they benign? Are they, do they appear to people in times of good, bad? What are they?
Um, okay, like what all four have in common is they basically they're quite evil, and they just eat people basically. Um, what is this? How do I explain this story? Mm, yeah, of course, tikbalangs are like in canon, like folklore. We're talking about like the OG stuff. They're tikbalang are basically yeah, they're tricksters basically. They they what is this? Their thing is they mostly like to trick people to get lost in the forest. Yeah. Shokoy, the shadfish, they like drowning fishermen and eating them underwater. Manananggal, oh yeah. Well, I'll say Manananggal for last because honestly, aesthetically, that's Manananggal is the dopest. Duende, there are a large variety of duende, but they're mostly earth spirits. Um, I guess what is this? The moral alignment of duende is the widest. There are good duende and there are bad duende. And yeah, they like tricking people, and sometimes they give people like they teach people to perform like magic rituals and whatnot. And yeah, and Manananggal, honestly, I feel bad about this because I'm a member of the strongest clan, Tikbalang clan. But Manananggal aesthetically is the dopest. It's the original. It's an what is this? You could say it's a feminist monster, more or less. It's a woman that's it's a beautiful woman by day, but by night her bottom half separates like very gruesomely, and then she sprouts wings, and then she scours the night to hunt for pregnant women and uses her tongue to eat their fetuses, like inside their bellies. Okay, so it's kind of fucked up, but yeah, okay. Like delving more into the lore, a lot of these creatures were actually uh, the modern canonical interpretations of these creatures were actually very heavily influenced by our colonial past. Like for example, the Manananggal itself. Uh, uh, the reason why the description of the Manananggal is so messed up, like a lot of what is this? A lot of researchers say that the reason is because uh, the the Spanish Empire colonized for a bit of background. The Spanish Empire colonized the Philippines like 300, 400 years ago. Yeah, and prior to that, there was a um, like females had a significant role uh, in the social power structure. Like, females were in positions of power. So the Manananggal was basically a myth, of course, a myth created to like demonize strong women. So yeah, I mean one of the main impetuses of Aswang tribe is basically to reclaim these creatures for and to put them into a newer context. So okay, um, these creatures were demonized. They were used to basically what is this? Paint a narrative, or, create a narrative that will allow colonizers to control the local populace. So okay, so with a strong tribe, we flip the script basically. We recontextualize these creatures. Now these creatures, tikbalang, tikbalang are not, they're not just half man, half horses who who stay in forest and trick people. They're not that now. Okay. What Aswang tribes is saying, tikbalang are badass fucking horses now. Okay. And they're going to be a part of crypto culture now. Shokoy, they're not just weird fish guys who like drowning people. No, no. Shokoy, are there any Shokoy listening? There might be. But Shokoy right now is the most annoying clan, the most organized clan, and the one who I
Let's go,
guess.
Shokoi! Let's go, Shokoi gang! I'm Shokoi, in case you like that.
Oh shit! I hate Shokoy. I hate you guys because you guys are so fucking organized, and I'm like, what the hell, man? Like, I go into the Tikbalang clan room and it's all just a bunch of like shit posts, and then I peek into the Shokoy clan room. You guys are like, you guys have banners. You guys are organizing shit, and I'm like, holy shit. Okay, Tikbalang is going to go back to fourth place now. But yeah, basically reclaiming these creatures, reclaiming the narrative, and then making the concept of Aswang and Filipino creatures and these aesthetics like palatable to a broader audience. Yeah, and that's the ultimate goal. Uh, uh, One of the ultimate goals of Aswang tribe is to make Aswang, make Filipino mythology, make Filipino culture a significant part of the broader cultural lexicon, like not just in the Philippines. I mean, I want these creatures, man, to be as famous as, what do you say? Um, yeah, sure. Let's say Bigfoot or the Loch Ness monster, or if we want to get
Medusa.
more corporate, yeah, Medusa. Or if we want to get more corporate about it, Jedi and Sith. I mean, that's it. That's the ultimate goal. Yeah.
That's incredible, and you know what? The with just the depth of lore that you're tapping into here, I'm fairly certain. I'm fairly certain you stand a good chance of getting there. So let's talk
Mm.
a little about inspirations here, Aswang. You obviously, as we've talked about now, you've been in the space for ages. You of course did your initial sort of one of ones, right? You ran about 130 of them, give or take. What inspired the creation of a generative collection? What inspired you to go from Aswang collection to Aswang tribe?
Okay. Um, so even when I started the one of ones, the idea was okay. There's so crypto exists, and then NFTs are a new thing, right? So I'm thinking, okay, what's the actual use case for this thing? Um, and from my perspective, like when I started that last year, the use case that I saw for NFTs, because as long as Ethereum exists, these NFTs will exist. Right? So from my perspective, the actual use case is, or one of the biggest use cases for NFTs is cultural preservation. And yeah, that's what, for a bit more context, in the Philippines, we have a very, very, very bad archival process. A lot of yeah, a lot of our books, a lot of our media were lost to time already. because we don't really archive them, and we don't Filipinos don't really care about, or no, I guess to be more precise, there is no proper there has been no proper archival. Okay, uh, and yeah, and I saw NFTs as a way to basically solve that. Okay, so even if, knock on wood, I die or whatever the hell, or whatever happens, as long as the Ethereum network exists, the Aswang I made for the one of one collection will be there, and any Filipino person, or because the Philippines has a big diaspora, almost like, I'd say last time I checked, 10% of our population, of the Filipino population, is not actually living in the Philippines. So there's this new generation of Filipinos who are not actually connected to their roots, right? Uh, so yeah, even if whatever happens, even if I die in a few decades, as long as Ethereum exists, uh, these newer generation of Filipinos who are disconnected with their culture, they can find a piece of their culture on the blockchain. Okay, so that was the impetus for the one of one collection. Um, but the only concern with that, the one of one collection was, number one, they were not designed to be profile pictures, which kind of hampers, what do you call this? I mean, let's be honest here. One of the main use cases as well for NFTs is people use them as an identity. That's not really that doable with the one of one collection because they're not profile pictures. They're meant to be gallery pieces. And also the supply is really quite small. So the audience is, what do you call this? The audience will be small as well, will be limited. Um, so yeah, but while I was doing the one of one collection, man, there were a lot of what is this? A lot of coders, a lot of developers who were like constantly approaching me that, hey, dude, want to make this? You want to make a generative with me? Do you want to make a generative PFP project? I was like, no, 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 dude, I'm doing my own thing. Uh, I didn't really see the appeal of making a generative profile picture project at first, um, until I realized that, the appeal is, or the reason that I should actually do that, ties into uh, my original impetus for actually doing this project as a swap. If I actually want to gain a wider audience, if I actually want more people to know about Filipino culture, I have to do a generative. I have to release a bigger supply, and it has to be a profile picture project that people can use as their identity, as their online identity in the metaverse as it exists today, which is Twitter and Discord. So yeah, it's basically taking the one of one collection and making it more palatable to a wider audience. Um, okay, gonna go on maybe a bit of a tangent here, but like Liz and Mangoes already touched upon uh, um, a few minutes ago, there was a lot of gamification in the one of one collection. I mean, I didn't just like drop my illustrations and wait for people to sell them. No. Yeah. Acquiring a one of one piece from the Aswang collection has always been like this active process, like or has always been this fully engaged process. Like you have to solve riddles, like join puzzles and do whatnot. Okay, and in terms of that aspect as well, we're expanding that with Aswang tribe. Um, one of the main what is this? One of the main ways that we want to grow a Swang tribe is to take that idea of gamifying art collection and gamifying art collection and bringing it to a Swang tribe. So basically, with a Swang tribe, I mean, if you break it down, if you break the clan system down, if you break down the way we did like marketing on the main page, it's really all just gamifying the process of acquiring this art. And then post launch, we're gonna apply that same principle as well. Like not only to we're going to gamify not only the process of buying art or collecting art rather, but also the process of creating art, which you can kind of see a little bit if you're in the server. We actually have a dedicated channel in the server called Your Creations, where people just make fan art, man. I'm so happy to see people making their own derivatives of the aswang, like making their own takes of the tikbalang, shokoy, duende, and manananggal. And yeah, we have some really, really interesting ideas on how to expand that. On how to keep that going first, and then how to expand that and make that you know a one of the main features of a swamp tribe, basically.
Wonderful. I'm glad you went on that tangent. It really resonated with me, with the deeper meaning that you had on, the lore behind your culture. I'm from Puerto Rico, and that is something that a lot of people from my generation face.
Mm.
Um, the the history between a different generation and minds, like it's definitely there's a gap, and it's amazing that you're taking these measures to connect a newer generation that's more focused on technology. So moving a little bit forward into the NFT, can you talk to us through the NFTs themselves? What are the people going to be minting? What will they be able to do with the NFTs that they're going to be minting this upcoming week?
Okay. So yeah, Mint is quite close. We are aiming to start the. It's a tiered mint schedule. It starts with the OGs and then goes on to mint list and goes on to wait list. And then if there's anything left over, you can go to public. The mint process starts on June 9. Yeah. And what I always like to say about you know, about the Swan Tribe, it is a utility infused NFT. So of course, yeah, from day one, you can actually, man, I'm spoiling things a bit, but from day one, you can start staking the NFT for utility tokens that you can. Okay, let me go backwards. We don't call it staking actually. We call staking praying, like the pray meme. Okay, so from day one, after reveal, you can command your Aswang to pray. Okay, so while your Aswang is praying, it's interesting. We managed to find a way around this. You don't have your Aswang won't leave your wallet when it's stay. It will stay there, but it will stay there as long as you know it's praying. So while your Aswang is praying, it will produce these ERC20 utility tokens called Dugo. Dugo is the Filipino word for blood. So with Dugo, if you manage to, what is this? If you, each aswang like produces, each Genesis aswang rather, each tikbalang, shokoy, and duende produces 3 dugo tokens per day. And if you collect like 900 dugo tokens, you can summon a manananggal. Yeah. And then, okay, I don't want to spoil this fully, but there's another feature where essentially Um, your NFT will have a marker that denotes your OG status, which is connected to how long you've been praying. But yeah, I don't want to spoil this one fully. But yeah, you will be able to, or everyone will be able to see how long you have been praying via the look of your NFT. And then, okay, like going back to one of the main impetuses of Aswang tribe, which is basically to spread or to give Filipino culture or to make Filipino culture and mythology a part of the larger cultural lexicon. We actually have we're actually going to build a sort of yeah, let's call it a grants program that will allow other artists to propose projects that will use the Aswang tribe IP, that will use these characters like in their own yeah, in their own art projects. Like for example, if you want to make an Aswang tribe album, uh, I mean, yeah, cool. Write a project proposal, like, and then submit it to Aswang tribe, and then of course it'll compete with other project proposals. And then if it gets through the filter, if your idea is dope, if you have the if your idea is dope, then yeah, basically we will help you get that made. So, yeah, if you have an idea for an Aswang tribe comic, dude, write a treatment for that, uh, write a project proposal, make a few concept sketches, submit that, and yeah, we'll help you get that made. If you have a crazy idea for an Aswang tribe, let's say like an animated short film, hmm, dude, you can do that as well. You can submit that idea, and then we'll help you get it done. Uh, one of the like for context, Uh, this this feature is actually inspired by the grants programs in the Philippines, because in the Philippines we have cultural grants for the arts. If you want to make a sculpture, if you want to make a book, if you want to make a short animation, then yeah, you write a project proposal, you submit it to the government, and then they'll give you funds to make that happen. They'll give you the platform. However, those programs are, dude, they are so heavily gated, and to be completely honest, the funds are not a lot. And I'm like, uh, I'm looking at the NFT space. I'm looking at the NFT space, and I'm seeing people like throwing around 2 ETH or 5 ETH like it's nothing. Uh, in the Philippine context, like really, really good artists, like spend months crafting like excellent project proposals, excellent pitch decks, to, to, to get something, to get an amount like that to fund their projects. And it's typically, uh, and yeah, and the idea is, okay, if the Philippine government won't do it, if the private funds are too gated, then dude, okay, Aswang tribe is here. Don't go to them, like go to us. Okay, we'll help you make your thing. And then of course, you help, and in doing so, by what is this? By focusing these talents on on expanding the Aswang tribe IP, we get closer to our goal. We get closer to our goal of mainstreaming Filipino culture, like in the wider global context. And then we also get closer to my personal goal, which is that in 300 years or something, like when we're all dead, when all of us here are dead, there will be an Aswang tribe NFT, not only in the Philippine National Museum, but also in the but also in MoMA, but also in the Met, but also in the Louvre. And yeah, that's ultimately what I want for the art that I've been making for months now.
I absolutely love the vision. That was amazing. Um, to go a little bit into the IP, is there going to be specific attributes that the people should be looking out for? You know, maybe some one of ones. How's the rarity going to be handled? Can you give us some insight on that?
Oh shit. Okay. Um, when I first like started the like even thinking about the traits, I actually did a lot of research on the top NFT projects. Uh, like not only top in terms of like floor price, but top in terms of like aesthetics as well. So I took a look, I took a look at the most successful NFT projects and then what traits did they use and how did they form their rarity structure. And I took a look at the worst ones and why they failed. Uh, and then my conclusion was, what is this? Okay, you can't really have, what is this? It's a weird balancing act. Huh? Um, if you have way too many traits, and if you have way too many traits, if you have like too much diversity in your collection, it doesn't, it fails to become a cohesive piece, and people just, the branding just doesn't stick out. And also, if the rarity is like willy nilly, if you just chuck it into RNG and do whatever, no, your rarity structure just becomes a mess. Okay, so basically, what is this? Like in terms of rarity structure, how do I explain this? Okay, I'll just spoil stuff a bit. In terms of rarity structure, there will be like several one of ones. Um, and I can't really. Hmm. Yeah, there will be several one of ones. Okay, this is the way not to spoil it. Uh, when you see the one of ones, you will know that they're one of ones because they're so absolutely distinct that yeah, you will know that they're one of ones. You won't even have to look at rarity sniper or whatever to know that they're one of ones. Um, yeah, I guess I can say that I took a lot of inspiration from doodles and their rarity structure because that's what I really like about that collection. Uh, the entire set of doodles. Okay, if you take one random doodle out and then put it in the wild, it will still be recognizable as that as a doodle as part of that IP. Uh, but also, I guess we've all seen the popsicle doodles, right, and the balloon doodles. They're all very easily recognizable as rare ones, but still part of that IP. Um, the way that I adapted that idea for Aswang tribe is basically the skins. Uh, I think a few people have what is this? Have noticed like in the previews that a lot of the Aswang have normal skin tones. So it ranges from a light skin tone to a mid skin tone to a dark one. But a few of the Aswang have these also very strange skin tones like slime, water, and then gold, silver. Yeah. So number one, that's an easy way to identify what is what is rare just through the skin tone. Uh, but apart from that, there are also uh, yeah, there are also like alien Aswang and then robot Aswang and then the skeleton Aswangs, which I desperately want to pull for myself. I want to pull a skeleton as well. But yeah, so yeah, so the first tier of rarity is determined by skin tones. So the normal human-ish skin tones, that's leaning towards the common. The elemental skin tones are kind of rarer. Uh, the ones that are built on like completely completely different bases. The skeleton Aswang, the robot Aswang, and the alien Aswang. Okay, those are really, really near the top of the rarity structure. But there's also one, the rarest ones, which you know, we didn't spoil yet. We didn't release previews of those, the one of ones. Yeah, those are going to be the rarest. Okay, and then just, okay, I'll just say it now. There will only be one of those there will only be, okay, for the rarest type of a swan, there will only be one per clan. So yeah, the rarest tikbalang, man, if you manage to pull that, you will know. You will know that's the rarest one. Like, uh, like 1 second after reveal, you'll know that's the rarest one. Because the aesthetic is so distinct. What is this? Okay, I guess I'll take this opportunity to talk about what is this? The amount of work that is actually in the collection. Okay. In hindsight, okay, in uh, of course I wanted to do the all of the art like by myself because that's my thing, man. It is a personal project. It is one artist's vision. Um, but while doing this, I kind of realized why a lot of projects hire a team of artists to do this. Because yeah, the work is a lot. So basically, there are more than 700 illustrations uh, in the generative. However, there are less than 200 traits because a lot of uh, the design of the traits is this. The traits are designed to go across clans. Like for example, um, I guess a lot of people have seen the skull face paint trait for the Manananggal, right? So that skull face paint trait is not only available for Manananggal, it's available for Tikbalang as well. It's available for Shokoy. It's available for Duende. Same with the clothing. I guess we've already previewed the spiked leather jacket clothing trait. Yeah, that's not only available for Manananggal, it's also available for Tikbalang, Duende, and Shokoy. But yeah, they're completely different illustrations. What is this? Okay, on the technical side, I work with Augmented to ensure that okay, if you for example go to OpenSea and go to a Manananggal that has the spiked leather jacket trait, and you click that trait. If you click that trait, it will not only show you the Manananggal that has spiked leather jackets, it will show you every Aswang that has a spiked leather jacket. And this I mean, I'm personally like a collector myself on strange stuff, and this is something that I would personally want. Uh, because, dude, if I like the skull trait, I'm not just gonna collect. Or if I like the spiked leather jacket trait, I want to get one from each. What is this? I want to get one from each clan, and then can't really spoil a lot, but yeah, perhaps a savvy collector that manages to like form gangs of Aswang with similar aesthetics. Perhaps that will play into the what do you call this? The gamified collecting experience that we're building as well. But yeah.
I do love it when you share additional details, Oswang. You seem to be in a pretty chatty mood today, which is great. Don't forget, you can share anything you like. It's just it's just you, me, and EQ Poppy and Liz and Mangoes. We're just hanging out, having a good time, right? So while while you're in a sharing mood, I wanted to ask just really quickly: are there going to be trait specific utilities
Oh
or
shit.
perks?
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna say right now that yeah, I'm gonna be completely honest right now that that was never on the table, like trait specific utilities. But now that you're saying it, that seems like a really interesting idea to explore, actually. So maybe we'll think about it. We'll think about it, man.
I love it. You heard it here first,
Mm,
folks. Trait specific utilities, maybe getting
maybe.
a maybe with the capital M from Aswang. Thank you for that. Let's start getting into the roadmap here. Now, I know you've left the roadmap. Your team have deliberately left the roadmap open ended, right?
Mhm,
On in your Discord, it talks about essentially how you're talking about the NFT space moving so fast, and you want to be adaptable, which is fair enough, and I do respect that. We've seen a good number of projects go on to all levels of success without necessarily having sort of a concrete roadmap laid out. However, I'd still like to, I'd still like if you can for us to sort of share, I suppose, what the steps in the road looks like, right? So you've stated that,
mhm,
or your team has stated that you want Aswang Tribe to be the first Filipino blue chip NFT project, and that's in
mhm,
the short term, right?
mhm,
And of course, you've got a midterm goal of becoming a leading Web3 art collective, and sort of your long term goal being a marker for identity. And as you mentioned, sort of long term, sort of 300 years in the future, you really want to build really a long lasting brand, or establish I suppose establish Aswang as an icon effectively.
mhm.
But the first step in the journey is being a Filipino blue chip NFT project. So can you perhaps share a little about what that journey might look like for people who join you on this journey, right? With perhaps purchasing or minting an Aswang Tribe NFT. What does the journey look like to becoming a Filipino blue chip project?
Okay. What is this? I mean, the theory is okay. No, I guess I shouldn't share a lot of the theory. Uh, okay. First off, and we've already like laid out a lot of the back end work or the groundwork for this. Uh, uh, as far as I know, I mean, if we're talking about projects that present themselves like fully as Southeast Asian projects, as a Filipino project rather, there has not been like a Filipino brand that has what is this? That has had what do you call this? That has had a presence. Yeah, that's a term. That has a presence in the major metaverses. We're talking about I'm talking about Web3 and I'm talking about Arcade.inc. So like short term, short, very like super short term. Uh, we want to we want to we want to launch an integration with Arcade and Web3 so that okay, so that potentially we have a community of very active, very insane people in the Discord, like hundreds of people. I don't want that to be just in the Discord. I want that to be in the major metaverses as well, which is currently right now Arcade and Web3 to proliferate the brand. Okay, and then second off as well, we're targeting. There is going to be this. What is this? The first major NFT convention in the Philippines, which is called NFT Manila. It's set to happen in October. Okay. Uh, the community has already organized, without my consent, mind you, but that's what it is. The community has already organized their what is this unofficial get-togethers, which is it's fun to see pictures of those, like just us one peeps just hanging out in real life. But in October, we're targeting to do our first like major marketing activation, like in NFT Manila. And dude, what is this? Uh, I guess people already have an inkling of how creative the team can be, like in terms of marketing in Twitter and Discord. And then yeah, the that first official IRL event that we want to be up the that yeah we're aiming to be a part of NFT Manila. That's going to be our first major IRL activation, and we've got a lot of frankly insane marketing ideas that are going to be executed there, which will basically serve as a beta test for our IRL presence in the major what is this in the major NFT gatherings abroad like NFT NYC, NFT LA. Yeah. So yeah, first step is basically just getting more people to be aware of the brand, which is I think which is of course a a significant undertaking, but I think it's made easier by the fact that um, that Aswang, like as a project, as a brand, as a community, it has a different feel, man. It looks new. It's not a derivative. It's not trying to be, you know, the next this or the next that, and it's not trying to be, yeah. It's its own thing. It's a breath of fresh air, if I may say so myself. Yeah. So yeah, and then apart from those marketing activations, I think the main way we actually uh, get to that blue chip status rather is gonna be very frank. Um, we're a small community. We're we're not Silicon Valley people. We're just a bunch of you know mentally ill artists. Um, okay. So we're gonna have to do. Uh, we we can compete dollar for dollar with the bigger brands, basically, like in terms of marketing. So we have to be smarter about it, and that's where the funding program comes in. That's really where the funding program for the various art project proposals come in. I mean, yeah, the idea is to attract top talent, like both yeah, like IRL top talent, like to make um what do you call this? To make media, uh, to make media for us one time. To yeah, uh, yeah, to make music, to make comics, to make whatever, and what have you, a statue or whatever. Minifigs, I'd love to see minifigs. Yeah, yeah. To attract top talent into our grants program and use that to boost the or what do you call this? To yeah, use that to basically what is this? Yeah, use that to basically inject a bunch of as a cheat code. Yeah, that's what we call it. Use that as a cheat code for marketing. Yeah, basically, it's not about how many marketing dollars we're gonna put into. Man, we don't even do this. It's not about how many marketing dollars we can throw into influencers or like throw into paid ads or whatever. It's about attracting the correct talent and attracting interesting uh, proposals for art projects, which I think Aswang Tribe is purpose built for. It's an interesting IP that interesting people with interesting ideas and like interesting people with interesting ideas and a well developed art skill set will want to will want to play around with. I man, I am constantly like surprised about uh with the quality and the variety of like fan art that we get. There was this one like RPG like mini RPG game that someone did like with Aswang, and then like, oh, okay, so these designs work in that context as well. And then all of the 3D stuff, okay, these designs work in that context as well. And then and all of the songs, and then okay, I'm like, okay, this narrative works in that context as well. It's just a I personally think just the freshness of the idea, like, just attracts really interesting, talented people that want to work on it, and that's how we get to blue chip status, in my opinion.
Very cool. Community empowerment is certainly the way, and it is definitely the Web3 way. I think EQ Poppy will unpack some of that community stuff a little later. But first, let's talk a little about Dugo.
Mhm.
I hope I've pronounced that right, which is the token that the Genesis Oswang will produce or emit, right? And these Dugo tokens are going to be used for the creation of the Manananggal. Now, I think we're sort of if you've been in the space for a while, you're reasonably familiar with breeding models, right? So it'll take the average buyer who holds two Genesis Oswang about 90 days to mint a Manananggal. But I suppose my question for you here, Aswang, is what does the future look like for Dugo? Is it primarily just a token, with a function for breeding Manananggal? What sort of future plans for the Dugo token in the Aswang tribe ecosystem can your community members expect?
Okay. This where we get into lawyer talk. Uh, I actually talked to man. My. I mean, I know the concerns about and we all know the concerns about utility tokens like this. Uh, my lawyer actually wrote me like it was a long opinion, 50-page opinion uh, about this. And I also consulted with a lot of with some really smart people who are from CT about the tokenomics. Okay, and the central idea for Dugo is number one, it will only be used in the Aswang ecosystem. That is really it. Okay, so you can breed Banananggal, uh, and then and then you can use it for other utilities down the line as well, but only in the Aswang tribe ecosystem. Uh, the Dugo is actually deflationary, man. There's a very hard market cap of Dugo. Uh, Only 10 million tokens can ever be produced, and every year the emission rates for Dugo are cut by half. Oh, these NFTs are meant to like evolve into gallery pieces, because you know what? Gonna be very frank about this. Uh, Imagine if owning a Picasso or a Warhol. Imagine if owning a Warhol like gave you a 10% discount at McDonald's. That would be absurd, right? That doesn't really make a lot of sense. Or I don't want something like that for in the long term for these R Swamp type NFTs. I want them to be like standalone collectible pieces uh, that are valued not because of the token, but because of their cultural relevance. But that's in the long term. Um, but yeah, for the first, we calculated the Dugo token emissions, and the emissions will go on for around 3 years. And that's the time when we actually, um, 3 years is our timetable for like brand building and whatnot and gaining cultural relevance. But after that, we don't need the Dugo token, honestly. Um, but within that 3 years, the Dugo token is there, and that opens up a lot of interesting like gamification possibilities within the Aswang tribe ecosystem. But yeah, it's not. You're not supposed to, you're not you're not primarily supposed to like buy an Aswang tribe NFT because it produces Dugo. No. Uh, what I want long term is for people to want to acquire these pieces because they have cultural value. But while we're building towards that, while we're building uh, towards securing rather, securing our place in the zeitgeist. Yeah, Dugo is a way to make the collecting experience engaging, uh, and then incentivize. Yeah, incentivize. Yeah, incentivize not only the process of collecting but also creation, which okay. Okay. Basically, how do I say this without spoiling? Mm, okay. I'll say it as like as plain and boring as possible. Um, you're going to be able to get other stuff apart from Manananggal within that 3 year period. Or as long as Dugo exists, yeah, you're going to get, as long as all Dugo has not been burned yet, you're going to be able to acquire other stuff using that Dugo token. But yeah.
Ah, very nice. I think alluding there to perhaps some additional things. Perhaps
Mhm.
participants in the Aswang tribe ecosystem may be able to receive for Dugo tokens. By the way, for anyone who's been doing any back of the envelope math at home, that's we're looking at, I believe, about a 16K per day emission rate in a year. It's about 6 million or so tokens.
Mhm.
I'm not sure how the numbers stack up here, but I believe you mentioned it's got a max cap off 10 million. I think it was on the token supply, which
Oh,
is
what is this? Yeah, we're releasing like new tokenomic specs. We balanced it out more basically. But yeah, yeah. It's
gotcha,
the cap
gotcha.
is 10 million. Yeah.
No dramas at all. And look, I think I'm certainly looking forward to seeing those new tokenomics, and I bet there's going to be a bunch of people out there as well keeping an eye on it. Of course, being aware that, as you mentioned, it's not meant to necessarily be a core tenet, I suppose, of why
Yes, yes, correct. Yes.
people should collect an Aswang tribe NFT. So let's talk about the clans, right? A
Mm-hmm.
big shout out, by the way, once again to Shokoi clan. Let's go. Uh, so okay, you know what, Aswang, the Tikbalans are pretty cool too, right? I'm gonna give you that, right? They're
Man, we're
all
at third
they're
place. We're at third place. If we fall to fourth place, I will quietly exit the Balang. No, no, I'm joking.
oh no. Hey, all the Tikbalang listeners out there, you gotta step your game up here. You don't want you don't want Aswang to be let me tell you, I'm gonna I'm gonna slide into Aswang's DMs if Aswang does happen to leave Tikbalang, and I'm gonna be like, come over to Shokoi, come to the dark side.
No, no, that's cheating. By design, people are not allowed to leave their clan.
Oh
Now,
yeah, dude,
And
Liz
that
would
was
just change
technically
my clan
Aswang's
back, so
rules.
wait.
so look, this is a pretty good segue, right? Because you've created this interesting dynamic in your Discord server. For anyone who's not in there, I highly recommend jumping in there and sort of checking it out. You're gonna have to pick your clan, as you can tell, based on the interactions we're having here. Uh, how well, I suppose my question is, so you've got your four clans. How are the four clans going to interact with each other in the future? Is probably part one of this question. What's your vision for the four clans over your, let's call it 3 year time frame?
Okay. Uh, the four clans. Okay, I'm gonna give it up to Liz. That was her idea. But what is this? The four clans are essentially, and Liz, feel free to jump in if you want to add something. The four clans essentially create this that like it's something that I've never actually like seen before in the space. It's like this strange what is this? It's like this strange multi-platform like role-playing experience for the people. So it for the community members. Yeah, I mean right now the clans are centralized in the Discord, right? There's some spillover in Twitter. I mean, you can see like yeah, you can see like people shitting on other clans on Twitter as well. But right now it's centralized on Discord. But the vision for the four clans is to expand this role playing experience, uh, and take it, expand it from the Discord, like into Twitter, like into Web3, into Arcade Inc., into what do you call this? Into the 3D metaverses as well, and then eventually into IRL events. I mean, they are like it is one of the like yeah, I'd say one of the most one or I'd say the most the most interesting like community feature of Aswang tribe really. Um, because the tribe system, it's like I think Liz modeled it after Harry Potter, like the Hogwarts houses, which is like super interesting. No, like even within the Aswang tribe ecosystem itself, like having those four tribes, like encourage people to like have this constant sense of what is this like friendly competition, yeah, like friendly competition and then camaraderie. So yeah, we want to take that, we want to expand that, like from what's we want to take what's happening in the Discord right now, and then expand it to Twitter, and then expand it into the major NFT metaverses that are emerging right now, and then eventually expand it into like real life. Like, I mean, this will of course depend if someone proposes it. I mean, like, like to make something like this. Potentially, maybe, maybe like someone from Shokai Clan. Hmm? Someone from Shokai Clan, maybe he's a really skilled, let's say, animator. Hmm? And there are a few skilled writers in Shokai Clan as well. Maybe they can propose like a short animated as one tribe film that focuses on Shokai Clan. Okay, when that happens, dude, 100%, the people from the other clans are going to step up and make their own. So yeah, and then yeah, I mean, and from that, the what is this? The the options for like brand expansion, and then for expanding this this role play experience are kind of endless. It's what do you call this? I had the correct words for this. Give me a sec. Okay. Um, so a lot of other projects have like lore that's set in stone, right? Like okay, a project launches, it has this background. Okay, here's the world, here are the characters, here's what happens. Then yeah, you can be a part of it. We're sort of taking like the opposite approach in a Swan tribe. Uh, we don't write the lore. The community writes the lore. It's an it's a what is this? It's a yeah, I'm gonna say it. It's gonna it's a live action role playing process where what happens in the community. I mean, Shokoi clan going from fourth place to to first place because of the efforts of yeah, because of the efforts of a lot of really fucking active Shokoi. That's the lore. That's the lore of a small tribe. Yeah, and then yeah, maybe if what is this? Maybe if Shokoi members from the Shokoi clan.
I think, unfortunately, we
The,
have just lost Oswang there for a moment. Uh,
where I see two as one. What the heck?
uh, which is okay, as to be expected here. A member of the Tikbalan clan here couldn't keep talking up the Shokois. In the meantime, I want to give out a very big shout out to any Shokoi listening. I see you. I see you guys in the chat. I see LA. I see you in the Shokoi chat as well. A very big shout out to, well, look, a very big shout out to all of the Aswang tribe members, and of course any Metaverse HQ fam that are here hanging out with us today. Let's see if we can't get uh, Aswang back. But until Aswang gets back to sort of continue on, sort of from where he was at, I perhaps will ask you, perhaps Mango, a side question here. Oh, hold on a moment. Let's just see if we can get Aswang back here. Any moment now. We have you.
There you go.
You are indeed back. It was just not to be Aswang. You just couldn't keep talking about those
Oh
shokois
my
without
God.
without.
See, that is basically Agassi like telling me to stop talking about the show. Stop bad mouthing the show in public. Okay, I will accept that. Hello.
Yes,
Okay,
we
okay.
no, we've got you.
Here.
You're very much here. Okay, so I get what you're saying. So the communities, I suppose the clans are in many ways, I suppose, supposed to be sort of almost a check and balance mechanism for, I suppose, lore development
Yes, for sure.
and the allocation of your community vault funds.
Yeah.
Right. Very cool. Alrighty. So the sort of second part of my question here actually pertains to the Manananggal. Now, of course, Genesis Oswang holders are going to be able to breed Manananggal. There's going to be 3,333 of the, as you described them, I believe, bat waifu demons. I suppose my question here is, in clans where there's only 1,111 of each race, right? I suppose species, your Tikbalang, Shokoi, and Duende. How will you balance the Manananggal, given there's going to be 3,333 of them that are going to be bred?
Like if we're talking about clan dynamics, 100% at a certain point, there will be three times more manananggal than you know than every other clan, man. However, and I think we're seeing a bit of that now. Uh, Manananggals are what is this? Uh, they are. I mean, if we're talking in like in terms of like just pure aesthetics, they are the most appealing design, and they are supposed to be like yeah, like the flagship clan of the brand. Uh, However, what is this? With that size also comes like what is this? With that size also comes honestly also comes like a difficulty in wrangling a wrangling a clan that big. So like in terms of just organization, it'll be harder, 100%. Uh, and yeah, and it will take quite a while actually for for the actual manananggal like if we're talking about if we're talking about like the number of NFTs, it will take quite a while for there to be actually more manananggal NFTs than the other clans, which is which is sort of by design, um, because we have already seen how attached people are to their clans, and that's why we had to like make some modifications on the smart contract. Uh, Personally, as a member of Tikbalang clan, uh, dude, I would want to get a Tikbalang. I would want to make that as my identity. And it'll be easier for people to do that. Like out the outset, it'll be easier for members of the Tikbalang clan, Shokoy clan, and Duende clan to actually get Tikbalang, Shokoy, and Duende NFTs. And it'll take a while for Manananggal to actually catch up in terms of that. But I'm not gonna say it's a foregone conclusion, but yeah, it kind of is. Like it's a foregone conclusion that Manananggal will have more manpower at the very end. They'll have, I mean, there are a bunch of simps in the NFT Twitter, so perhaps there will be more fans of Manananggal clan. But you know what? then that's the challenge for the other clans. Okay, the how do you beat the manpower advantage of Manananggal clan? I mean, it's a war, man. It's not supposed to be easy. Uh, I actually allow me go to into another tangent. Like again, uh, there actually was. If you read through the OG collection and the derivatives, there actually is a lore for Aswang tribe. The lore is about this. I can't really. So we're going into canon here, but yeah. Aswang tribe was originally supposed to be called the Manananggal War. Yeah, if we're talking about lore, if we're talking about if we're in Star Wars terms, this is like Star Wars Legends, so it's non-canon. It used to be canon, now it's not canon. Um, yeah, in lore terms, yeah, the lore for Manananggal War was basically yeah, it was basically the Manananggal versus everyone, and that's still sort of reflected in the in the distribution of the clans in the actual NFTs. Yeah, by design, there are supposed to be more Manananggal, and that is the challenge for the other clans. But I don't know. I'm sure Tikbalang clan is strong enough to overcome that challenge.
So we're seeing this shift as as more Manangal get added to the collection.
Oh
You
yeah,
might
for
see
sure.
together.
Which is kind of absurd because I'm using a Manananggal profile picture, but I'm in Tikbalang clan. But you know, it is what it is. It is what it is, man. Like, what are you gonna do?
So a little bit about obviously your community is going to grow, and you have been in community building mode for it's been over 3 months now. We've seen everything from Baloo eggs to clan wars. Can and feel free to chime in, Liz. What are some of the lessons that team has learned so far, and how are you looking to apply these to your future?
Okay. Liz, do you want to take this one? Is Liz here? Did she fall asleep? Hello?
Hello? Hi,
Okay.
hi, hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can
Yep.
I
hear
can
you.
hear you.
Okay. Okay, lessons. Uh, I guess the first, it's not really a lesson, but a realization is to, I guess, do not censor as much as you can because when you like, a lot of the like what was Wang saying earlier, like the lore and the role playing factor, it all kind of like happened organically because and a lot of the things that have been happening in the server, like even like during like a certain time of the day, people just post these uh, like erotic gifs. So a lot of the I don't know fun and interesting things happen in the server because we allow people to just be themselves and to not like stifle uh, who they are and what they want to say. So pretty much these past couple of months, we have um, there were we haven't really made any like moderation in the server, so to speak, like banning people who say such things. Well, luckily there are no people who cross the line, but pretty much we've been uh, 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 an open server where everyone can just be themselves and just speak whatever they want to speak and so far when we did that, we noticed that people um, became more engaged, and it well also in the creative process. Well, the number one killer of creativity is when you like impose rules or censor. So we also kind of want to encourage that kind of I'd say anarchistic culture where people can just be themselves and uh, uh, create, memes, create fan art that are not limited. And so far, that has really worked very well for the community, for community building. And yeah, I guess that's it for my personal realization in terms of community building.
Oh, that's very cool. Thank you for sharing, Liz. We appreciate that. So that's pretty. By the way, for I was having a look in the in the Tambayan chat, the general chat channel of the Aswang tribe, and they were there were some pretty sus gifs going on while you were talking about those erotic gifs. So that's an interesting quirk of your community there that you've got. Look, how do you as a project team reunite your community as a whole, despite the ongoing competition? You've got your four clans, but it's very much one single community, right? What's your mechanism of reuniting the community?
Okay, and actually, this one also came from the community. Like I actually don't know who started it or who thought of it first, but I just started seeing uh, OTOG, one tribe, one goal. So they started making that line happens, and it just organically happened within the tribe. So I guess we're also just really lucky that we got uh, non toxic people in the server. And Also our and the regard even if they're like clan wars, and we call it as clan wars, and it's competitive, our hosts have pretty much made a great job at keeping it still friendly and light. And if there are banters, they're very good at um, flipping that over and then turning it into something either funny or light. And I guess uh, that's it's kind of like Olympics. It's competitive, but at the same time, it builds camaraderie. You build friendships, so it's kind of similar to what we've kind of built uh, within the server these past couple of months. So yeah.
Nice. I love to hear it, and of course, a, a very big shout out to everybody in the Oswang tribe Tambayan chat. It's going absolutely bonkers in there at the moment. So very very good fun. Look, let's talk about your allow listing process, right? So to get allow listed for Aswang tribe, you basically, you're a no grind community. You need to vibe with the community to become, I believe the word is kakampi, right? Or which gets you effectively on the allow list. Can you talk our listeners through sort of what the process involves and how they might be able to become kakampi if they still can? Either anyone can take that.
Okay, maybe I'll just answer. Uh, okay, so unfortunately, we are no longer giving out kakampis via Twitter, but uh, since we're getting closer to the mint, there might I don't know if I'm supposed to be announcing this now, but yeah, there might still be a chance uh, to get something from Twitter through interaction. But anyway, in terms of like how we've been uh, running like the mint list process. Uh, it actually just, again, this is something that just kind of like happened organically, that we started like getting these fantastic fan arts like when we started it, like the Twitter page just posted interact with this post, and then we're just kind of, let's see where the Twitter community will take this. Like, are they gonna uh, spam this with memes, or are they gonna write lores, or how is the Twitter community, or how are the people gonna, where will the people take this interact post? So it just sort of like evolved into um, like every day we get like about, I'd say, 100 fantastic fan arts, and again, uh, because we what do you call this? We uh, from day one we tried to handpick all of the, like all of them, all of the people who get mint list, because uh, uh, we don't want to get botted and be attacked by like bad actors who'll make 50 alt accounts, or pay like a troll farm, a whale, like paying a troll farm to get like 1,000 accounts and just interact with the post. So we wanted to avoid that happening. So as much as we can, we really try to pick all of the people that we give spots to by ourselves. So that's what we've been doing like daily since March or February, was it? But so yeah, it just kind of evolved into uh, uh, people really submitting interesting fan arts, and then here and there are like people who do uh, interesting things as well, like uh, creating cake art or nail art, or all sorts of interesting stuff. So, and again, since we're doing it manually, and I try to always say this because people can get a bit disheartened because they feel that we don't notice them, but uh, you see, we get like thousands of interactions every day. So uh, I'd say 50% of it is, how you've interacted with a post, but then there's also this 50% uh, that's like that's all left to luck. If uh, you're right there, we saw the post at the right time, at the specific time, and it was fantastic, or it was beautiful, or it was interesting, or it was funny, then you're gonna get the mint list. But there are also times that or there would be interactions that we don't see, and there's just, I guess, luck to blame for that. So and timing. But again, we try to also implement like different types of not just the interact post, but um, in the server, because we've kind of kept a hybrid server. It's the voice chat is like open to public, but then the general chat is closed and is only and can only be unlocked once you get either the ticket, the Bisita Pass, or the Kakampi. So we've been also daily running like clan wars and games over at the voice chat, and there have been a number of our beloved community members who came from the voice chat, and they didn't interact from Twitter. They just won games, or won the singing contest. So as much as we can, we try to um, uh, use a combination of meritocracy, talent, and of course luck, for just people who say that they don't have talent, but they might be fortunate or lucky when it comes to giveaways and stuff like that. So we try to in terms of our allow process or list process, we, as much as we can, we also try to keep it a good balance or a combination of all those things: luck, meritocracy, and of course talent. So yeah.
Wonderful. I did want to touch on something real quick about your post mint strategy. Do you have a time frame that you've set aside for how long reveal is going to happen after mint out?
Oh, it's 3 days basically. Yeah, which is I think enough time for people to, because I think people will want to trade a lot. I mean, especially like if you're in Tikbalang clan and by the luck of the draw you minted a duende, so that gives you like a 3 day window to trade with a duende who got a Tikbalang NFT. So yeah, so reveal is set for like 3 days after the public.
All right, very cool. Thank you very much, Aswang, for that for that bit of info. I actually just have one last question here on the mint mechanism. It does look as though the mint's going to be effectively, as Liz mentioned, 100% allow list, right? You've got, of course, a day allocated for a public mint, but that's let's face it, that's day four, and that's may not necessarily be happening here. I do have a question: is your allow list going to be oversubscribed? Or over allocated, I should say.
Oh no, definitely not. I mean, we tried to avoid that from day one because we don't want to like screw over members of our community who have uh, like who have really worked hard to become a part of this. So yeah, it's, if anything, it's a bit, yeah, it's not oversubscribed. If anything, there's a little bit of allowance for us to like keep some Genesis Aswang in the project wallet that we can use for as rewards for events down the line.
All right, you got it. Well, that's totally fine, and of course, thank you once again for all the information and all the alpha. We are coming up on, to be very honest with you, this one's been a bit of a marathon spaces here today. Coming up just about to the 2 hour mark. Good grief, we have been going for a while, Poppy. Thank you for hanging out with us, and of course, a very big thank you to Liz, Delicious Mangoes, and of course the Tikbalang but Manananggal PFP himself, Aswang, for taking the time to spend, to sort of spend, sort of the last couple hours here with us, talking through the details of the Aswang tribe. I suppose now's the time if I ask if you've got any closing comments for our listeners today.
Okay, for me, I'm just gonna say that since day one, the objective of all of my work in the NFT space as the artist currently known as Aswang has been to preserve and proliferate Filipino culture. And that's it. Uh, if and that extends to Aswang tribe as well. That is the ultimate goal. Uh, and if a side effect of that is we managed to build one of the most active, prolific, and insane, frankly insane, like Web3 art collectives in the space, then you know what? So be it. Yeah.
You got it. And that is just about a wrap. The Mangoes, I'm sorry. Were you about to say something?
Oh no, I just have my mic on, but I mean, I guess now that now that I guess I got the floor, and yeah, no, thank you guys for listening, and definitely thank you MBHQ for hosting us. But yeah, and definitely everyone look forward to everyone that we. I mean, first of all, our launch, but after that, anything that comes after that, and just looking forward to see what the community builds, and also just look forward to any other cool stuff that we bring out for you guys, members of the tribe.
Oh, that is absolutely right. Mangoes, again, a very big thank you to the team from Aswang Tribe here today for hanging out with us. Don't miss their upcoming mint. Aswang Tribe's first day for their mint is the 9th of June here for their OG collectors. If you're a Timawa, Maharlika, or Majinu, I'm probably butchering that. Your mint day is on the 9th of June, June 10th and 11th for anyone who's on the allow list. The 12th of June is for anyone who's on the wait list. And if there's any remaining mints, they'll then go to a public mint. Again, that's if there's any remaining on the 13th of June. Again, very highly unlikely. So, you know what? I think that is just about all the time we have here today. Make sure you're giving Aswang Tribe a follow and, of course, a big ton of likes on Twitter here at Aswang Tribe. Of course, this has been Visual once again with EQ Poppy on the Metaverse HQ account with the team from Aswang Tribe. Once again, a very big thank you to Aswang, Liz, and Delicious Mangoes. You guys have been absolutely incredible. And lastly, a very big shout out, once again, I got to do it, to all of the clans in the Tambayan, in Aswang Tribe, but especially Shokoi, Mirasol, Mike Hawk. I see some of you guys out there in the general chat as well. Big love. It's an incredible community. If you're not in there, check out the Discord. It's good vibes. I think that's all the time we have here today. Once again, everyone, I hope you have yourselves a lovely day. Have yourselves a really nice midweek. Whatever it is you're up to, take care, and we'll see you next time.